And good morning, everyone. Thank you. Look, what I'm about to present, I think, is a very exciting, compelling story, not just for TDO, we're a micro cap, but also our consortium with Conoco and also the Korean National Oil Company, but also for Victoria. So in our drilling program, we're going to be undertaking over the next 12 months, probably 3 wells. We will be targeting about TCF of gas. And all with amplitude and DHI support to these prospects. And just to give you some context on that, that's about 6 years of gas for Victoria. So it's a pretty exciting project. Our share on that in the event we're successful is about 200 BCF. It's pretty exciting. But look, one of the exciting things about the whole project is that it's got short, medium, and long-term potential, and you'll see this today. So look, I will be making some forward-looking statements, and I am human, so I might get a couple wrong. Okay, this slide is for people with short attention span. The message, if you only get one message a day, we are about to drill in a few weeks with this rig in offshore Victoria. We're drilling 2 wells. First up, Essington, which has a P50 mean of about 260 BCF. A double target, chance of success in the higher one is 76%. We have 2 types of DHI in this. We have an AVO anomaly and we have a flat spot. Second well is Charlemont, which will de-risk a whole string of pearls of prospects. This is targeting about 93 BCF and a chance of success of 81%. So we are literally drilling in a few weeks. The rig is on its way to where we're drilling. So hopefully by Christmas, we'll have 2 wells under our belt. So just looking at the investment opportunity, look, we've got a very high impact program coming up, exceedingly high. As you saw with the amplitude presentation, we're in a great spot. We're next to a market that is basically confronting an energy crisis. And we're next to infrastructure with spare ullage, probably in the near term. And we have a very low market capitalization. So just to give you a quick summary of who we are, we've been around a little while. We've participated in probably close to $200 million worth of exploration offshore. But despite that, we still only have 333 million shares on issue. We've done this by mostly doing deals in industry rather than going to the market for money, as you know, stockbrokers out there will know. We currently carry in the Otway a prospective resource of ours of about 1.8 TCF, and we will see that during this presentation. So today we're talking about Otway, but I just want to tell people out there, if you do invest in TDO, you'll also get exposure to the Dorado play. We, some years ago, picked up a block next to Dorado prior to Dorado being drilled. We had that 100%. It's very exciting, but we won't talk about it today. So this is a map of the Otway. The pink is the areas that we're in with Conoco. The yellow are amplitude and the blue are the beach. We have the largest position in Bass Strait in total. About 8,000 square kilometers of Otway Basin. We recently put out an announcement saying we've identified around 9 TCF of gas across the 2 permits. And we were an early mover on the Tasmanian permit we picked up some time ago. We did bring in Beach. They did give us some money and we shot seismic. They walked from it, but don't know why. We uncovered a 3-TCF prospect. We then had a lot of interest globally, and we eventually farmed in Conoco into the permit. We then went and acquired the Victorian permit, Vic P79, and we again did another farm out deal with Conoco on that block. And you'll see as we go how much potential we have in these 2 permits. You know, potentially 2 decades or more of exploration opportunities. So I really like this map. So we can basically divide this into three areas. So the circle here is basically showing the area where we're drilling this time around, which is, and we're targeting what's called the Charlemont cluster. And so potentially very low risk near infrastructure. Over to the west is what we call the Regia area. Now, we have an EP where we can drill 2 wells in this program. Unfortunately, we didn't acquire our seismic in time, so that will be left on the back burner. But we see a lot of amplitude on 2D there. This is a very exciting medium-term opportunity to add on to any discoveries we get in this area here. Now, going to the longer term here down in the Tasmanian permit, I mean, this is like the Beetaloo of the south, if you ask me. We have a lot of prospects there. I think we've identified about 7 TCF of gas down there, a lot of structures. We see a lot of AVOs down there. Obviously, it's further away from infrastructure, and it's something we'll be targeting in the future. But just to point out, that is thylacine, which is the largest gas field in the Otway, and virtually no exploration has ever been undertaken south of that area. Looking over to the left here, this just shows you what we're targeting in our drilling campaign, which 1,000 petajoules, and that's the consumption Victoria has per annum. Over here, this is just a breakdown of TDO's equity in the major prospects we've identified to date. So just to give you a bit of history, we did farming Conoco into our Tasmanian block, and then we later farmed them into our Victorian block. The first deal was for seismic through cash up front and a carry, 35 million US carry on a well. The second deal we did was in Vic P79. Again, we got some cash up front and we got a $30 million US carry on a well. Later on, we swapped that carry in the Tasmanian block into the Victorian block because it made more sense to target prospects near infrastructure. However, it's not to say we don't like the Tasmanian block. We just want to get gas to market as soon as possible. So we currently have an EP to drill 2 wells, or 6 wells all in total. We will be drilling 2 wells in the firm part of the program. We have the option of drilling 4 wells in the second part of the program. We're not likely to drill 4 wells because we didn't get the seismic shot in the west. We are likely to drill at least 1 well, however. So just doing a bit of a dive into our prospectivity in the Otway. Look, this plot shows a chance of success on the y-axis, the distance to infrastructure on the x-axis. The size of the planet is the size of the prospect. Stripes indicate 2D, solid indicates 3D. So you can see we've basically got an array of prospects of varying risk and varying size. And we will be targeting this to start with, which are not necessarily the largest, but they have the lowest risk. So we want to drill the lowest risk things first to basically underpin a development, which then can be built on and, with time, explore a lot of these features. Okay, and some very exciting things, I must say, out here in the Tasmanian area. So the first well will be Essington, as I've talked about already. It's one of the largest things undrilled in the region. And we're drilling in an area where we've already heard about where the success rate is close to 100%. It's like the Goldilocks zone of drilling in the world. It's fantastic. You don't get better chance of success than this. Essington has a double target with DHIs in both. The second well, Charlemont, is somewhat smaller, 93 BCF, but we're targeting this because it basically will de-risk like a string of pearls of prospects, which has the potential to basically uncover another 700 BCF of gas in that string of pearls. Just to show you where we are. So the the Essington well is here, which is close to geograph just over here. Sorry, there it is there. That's it there, very micro-sized map. There it is there. And then this string of pearls here, the Shalimon cluster there, is there. So let's have a deeper dive into these. So de-risking through modern seismic and DH support. So look, we're carrying virtually AVOs on most of these features and also flat spots as well. So that's pretty exciting. It does de-risk it. You know, Minerva's got a beautiful looking flat spot and AVO anomaly. Up here on this map here, looking at the Warri C and the Warri A down below, we do see AVO anomalies right across this sequence of prospects. The only one we don't see an AVO, but we do see a flat spot in this feature called Shalimon A. This is exciting because it's quite big. However, the science tells us we shouldn't have an AVO anomaly here because it's too deep. However, we do have a flat spot. And this feature has recently been uncovered by reprocessing the seismic data. And that's potentially a very exciting prospect, which is the most likely candidate for our third well. So just looking at the Essington prospect, we have both a target in the Warri A and the Warri C. At the Warri C level, we have a very strong AVO anomaly. And in the Warri A, we have a really good, strong flat spot. So we've got a double target there. And chance of success on those are, 68, and I think the other one's 71, and targeting 260 BCF. So that's our first high impact well. Very exciting, double DHI. Yeah, really exciting. We follow that with drilling what's called Shalimon 1, which is, just to confuse you, it will be targeting the Shalimon B feature, but we're calling it Shalimon 1. And as you can see, we have a string of prospects coming down from the Labella feature, coming down all the way down here. This one will provide, we regard it as a very low risk prospect. I think we're holding about a 81% chance of success, but it will provide data to de-risk this feature here with this lovely flat spot on it, but without an AVO anomaly. And so that complex there is a very exciting string of prospects to chase post drilling Shalimon 1. Looking, say, to the medium term, over to the west, we have this area we call the Regia area, which is largely covered by 2D. We were hoping to have the 3D shot before the drilling program, but the EP process is hard and takes a while. We do have a little bit of 3D up in the north. However, most of these features on 2D are showing amplitude, and we hope to shoot about 1,000 kilometers of seismic there in the new year, which will provide like a follow-up to what we see in the Shalimon cluster in the medium term. Looking longer term, we've got the Tasmanian permit. As I said, this is like the Beetaloo of the south. We have identified almost 7 TCF of gas down here. This is a block we originally picked up. The most exciting thing, of course, was Flanagan, we discovered some years ago with the 3D. And look, this is something we will be looking to drill in the coming years to add on to basically anything we find coming along. We do see AVO anomalies down here, not sort of the traditional ones in the Warri, but we do see them, and we are very confident there is gas down here. And it's really exciting because it's basically a frontier area, this. However, it's in shallow water and close to infrastructure and close to a market. And you don't sort of get these sort of blocks very often, like a frontier block that close to the market, infrastructure and shallow water. Look, James talked about, the facilities and tying in. Obviously, the pathway to basically to development. We have obviously the option of talking to beach or talking to amplitude. There is spare ullage there. Jane has said she's open to it. So we're not looking to reinvent the wheel here. We're not looking to build a gas plant. We're not looking to put a pipeline and a shore crossing. We're looking to get this gas to market the cheapest and the quickest way possible in the event of a discovery. So we have, those two options there. And, it's premature now. We don't know what we've got, but there are conversations obviously going on with the two parties in regard to tying in and bringing gas to market that way. So look, just to quickly summarize, I think this is probably the most exciting drilling campaign in Australia for some time. It's high impact. We have a carry to a degree on these wells. The drilling is about to start. We have short, medium, and long-term prospectivity going forward, literally about 2 decades of drilling going forward. And I can't see the gas market in the Victoria East Coast declining at all in the future. Our initial program, we hope to uncover about a TCF of gas, which is pretty exciting for both the Souls and Victoria. Thank you for your time.
Excellent. Thanks, Noel. I'm sure out of everyone, you're based in Victoria, separate to being the chairman of TDO. I'm sure you're hopeful there's success in this campaign, so your energy prices come down. You did touch on a third well potentially being drilled. Do you think that would be one of the appraisal wells following up success in one of the first 2 wells, or is it that medium-term regime opportunity?
The aim of the program to commence with, why am I not seeing the screen? Look, the aim of the program initially is to define as much gas as possible in an exploration phase. Appraisal drilling will be something we think of after this. So the third well in our minds is relatively locked in, but it of course depends on the results of the first 2 wells. In the event that the Shalimont well comes in and provides us with a good data set to de-risk the feature next door to it called Shalimont A, which will in fact be Shalimont 2, we would likely drill that. Okay.
Great. And is the Shalimont cluster on a fill spill chain up to Labella, or are they all independently sort of sourced?
Sorry, didn't quite hear that.
Are the Shalimont opportunities all on a fill spill chain up to the Labella discovery?
Yes, they are. So they're on a spill chain, and look, all those features have DHIs and flat spots. The only one that doesn't have an AVO, I should say. The only one that doesn't have an AVO is the Shalimont A, which is the biggest feature, with about 300 BCF-ish in it, but it does have a flat spot. And as I said before, the science tells us, both ourselves and Conoco, that we shouldn't have an AVO anomaly there. But that doesn't tell you definitely got gas there. It just says we shouldn't have one.
Excellent. Just to remind everyone on the call, the Q&A box at the bottom. If you've got a question for Noel, please write it through there. Obviously, congratulations on the farm out to Conoco, Noel. Big achievement getting that gross well carry there. Any thoughts on the Korean national company coming in and their motivations there?
Yeah, well, I get asked that a lot, and I don't have any inside knowledge. I mean, I just like everyone else feel that Koreans probably want to do a molecule swap at some stage and basically secure supply from possibly Queensland LNG into Korea, but that is purely speculation on my part. Sure. We have had a few conversations with them, and they are really getting up to speed with the prospectivity down here, and very excited. We're sort of building a relationship with them as well.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate your time today, Noel, and we wish you all the best for the drilling coming up. Obviously, like you said, in a few weeks. So all the best with Essington and Shalimont.